Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Welcome to Wicked Wednesday, where we discuss all the new comics that's coming out this week. Every Wednesday is like Christmas for us nerds because that's when the new comics come out. These are my recommendations for the best books to pick up on Wednesday. But here's some other information first. Last week's pick of the week was a big hit in The Walking Dead number 171, which is the first appearance of Juanita Sanchez, aka the Princess. I keep telling people don't buy into the hysteria and overpay for variants, but that's exactly what people keep doing. There's a very limited variant that has a pink signature on it that was selling as high as $100, and it sold around about $75 at the time I made this video. The thing that I have a problem with this is it's too much for a variant that just came out. In addition, the regular cover A has the Princess on it. So even though that variant with the signature is more limited, I think that the one that has the character that everybody likes in the first place is the one you should be buying. And you can get it for about $5 to $6 at the time I make this video, but it's probably going to go higher. You know the drill when it comes to The Walking Dead. Whenever a character appears on the live action TV show, their source material from the comics blows through the roof. So if you have a first appearance and they're on the cover, you want that book. So if you can find this cover A for less than $10, go ahead and buy it because it's not going to stay there. Personality wise, the Princess would be like putting Harley Quinn in the Walking Dead universe. You know, a dark comedy. So you have the grim darkness of The Walking Dead meets her dark comedy. So there's still darkness, but there's some comedic element to it. And I don't think the series has ever had that before, so it's much welcome. So anyway, only non-conformist trolls hate this character. 99% of people I've talked to love it. So go ahead and pick her up. Cover A, issue 171 if you haven't already. So anyway, let's go ahead and get the new comic day. I'm already blabbing too much. And DC Comics has given us, I just talked about her, Harley Quinn 25th anniversary issue number 1. She made her debut in the Batman animated series, so she was on television before she was in comics. Of course, her first comic appearance was in Batman Adventures number 12 and that iconic cover. She proved so popular that they took her out of that universe and incorporated her into the main DC continuity, and nothing has ever been the same since. Of course, this issue is going to have all kinds of variants, including ones from Jim Lee and other artists. Pick up your favorite for $5. Next up is Action Comics number 987. This is part 1 of the Oz effect, as the agents of the mysterious Mr. Oz move in on the Man of Steel and cause chaos in Metropolis. It's been said a lot that Superman is a very hard character to write for since he's so powerful, but Dan Jurgens seems to handle this with ease and keeps you coming back for more. Next up is Dark Knight's Metal number 2. They could have wrote this story in the Trinity book, which stars Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, but of course they're gonna make more money if they do another miniseries. Not saying that the story didn't have to be told, but they could have put it in Trinity. To me, Batman is the greatest superhero ever created, and DC is gonna ride that train until the wheels fall off. Can't say that I blame them. Seriously, dude, it's Batman. And next up is, of course, more Batman. Detective Comics number 964. This is part of the Dystopia storyline. Yeah, that's Batman on the cover, dark and brooding. It's what he does. Next up is Mr. Miracle number 2, and this is Tom King's take on Jack Kirby's 1970s character. Tom King did an excellent job writing on the Vision and redefining and updating the character and making people who never cared about the Vision character actually care about the Vision character now. Tom is doing that same type of magic with Mr. Miracle. People really responded to issue number 1. It's going to a second print. And the first print went up in value pretty quickly, selling well above cover. To tell you the truth, I did not see this coming in terms of the price increase. I think it shows the star power that Tom King now has. He's also been writing Batman starting in Rebirth. So yeah, Tom King, real big star now. Next up is the Speculation Pick of the Week. And that's going to be The Flash number 30. I've really liked this series, but it's been long overdue to highlight it. I just really couldn't pick the right issue. They've all been so great. But this one is extra, extra, extra special because it features the first appearance of a new villain called Bloodwork. Marvel's been having a lot of success selling a ton of copies of everything Venom lately. So I'm wondering if DC wants horror mystique that Venom gives you with Carnage and Toxin and Poison and all these other spin-off characters. This character looks like he belongs in that universe next to Venom, but he's over here in DC, so I'm curious to see how they're going to use this character. Next up, let's see what Marvel is up to, and that's going to be The Amazing Spider-Man number 32. The reason you should be picking these up is because of the Alex Ross covers. They always look great. There's also going to be a Matina variant of the Green Goblin Venomized. I've already spoken my piece about the venomization of everything, so I'll just let it be. If you like it and this is your thing, then pick it up. Next up is the all-new Wolverine number 24. This is the X-23 character that's headlining this title, and they got her off in space teaming up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Cover B is Sabretooth with the Venom treatment. Next up, Generations, Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel. Marvel has never done a good job of explaining just who Captain Marvel is. Carol Danvers, aka Miss Marvel, is now Captain Marvel. The male Captain Marvel, or Marvel, was an alien who was of Kree ancestry. After he died, Miss Marvel was upgraded to Captain Marvel with Captain America's blessing. So the 2019 Captain Marvel movie will star Brie Larson as the Carol Danvers version of Captain Marvel. The original Captain Marvel back in the 40s is the character is now known as Shazam. I'll have to explain in a future video at some other time how we got from Captain Marvel Shazam to Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, because it just keeps confusing people, but we don't have time to talk about that now. Next up is the Runaways, who are getting a new #1 just in time for their new live action web series that's going to come out pretty soon. They were first created and written by Brian K. Vaughan, which was his breakout piece about a group of teens that find out that their parents are supervillains and you thought your teen years were awkward. Including the main cover A, it's going to have a total of 7 different covers for this, which in my opinion is about 5 too many. Next up is Secret Empire Omega #1. The Secret Empire story arc is over, but this is basically a wrap-up, explaining where do we go from here. It comes with 5 different covers. Next up is Star Wars #36, and R2-D2 has been taken captive by the Empire. It's time for him to strike. Next up is Star Wars Dr. Aphra, issue #12. Darth Vader shows up. What else do you need to know? Next up is the Totally Awesome Hulk #21, which is going to a second print. This is another tie-in to that Weapon X storyline, which leads up to Weapon H, also known as the Hulk Verine that has the claws. Weapon X #6 is also tying into that. It too is going to a second printing, and that brings us to Weapon X #8, which is coming out this week. I gotta give it to them. That's a very nice looking cover. The variant of this is going to be Weapon H Venomized. Let's do an unofficial poll in the comment section. Do you think this is a atrocity? Do you think it's the greatest thing ever? Or are you just meh? Sound off in the comment section. And that brings us to Venomverse #2 of a 5-part miniseries. It comes with 4 different covers, and they're giving you more Venom than you can shake a stick at. Marvel's philosophy isn't that less is more. They believe that more is more. Next up is our report on independent comics and small publishers. First up to bet is Lola, XOXO Volume 2 #3 from Aspen Comics. Strong female protagonist in a dystopian future. We've seen that before, but the art on this is amazing. It's worth picking it up just for that alone. Next up is the return of a former pick of the week, Met Cadet U #2 from Boom Studios. It's the story of a lowly janitor's son who gets to become a hero. Think of Robotech meets Iron Giant. The creator and writer of this is Greg Pak, who's currently working on Weapon X, that's giving you all that Weapon H stuff. Same guy. He's really talented. Next up is Briggs Land Lone Wolf #4. This is the story of a secessionist compound that wants to secede from the United States and what happens when its leader goes to jail and his wife tries to take over as the new leader. There's no superpowers in this. This is just a good, gritty human drama. And it's been optioned as a TV show on AMC. It may happen one day in the future. Just to be sure, go ahead and pick up Briggs Land #1 Volume 1 from 2016. Is the first appearance of our protagonist, Grace Briggs. That's good, cheap speculation to hold on to the future, and you should be reading it too. It's an excellent read. Next up is going to be Ninjak #0 from Valiant Comics. This is written by Matt Kent, who is a wonderful writer. This is a 40-page milestone. It's going to give us some background on some of the mysterious stuff about Ninjak that we never knew. He has a web series that's in development. Just be patient. It's going to drop sometime in the future. I would recommend that you snag up Bloodshot #6 from 1993, which is his first appearance in civilian clothes, and Bloodshot #7 is his first full appearance and first cover appearance. Get them now where they're cheap. Basically, Ninjak is like if James Bond was a ninja with some Daredevil and Batman gadgets. I did a video at more detail about the character. I'll put a link in the description so you can go back and watch that. Next up is Rocky and Bullwinkle Show #1 from American Mythology Productions. This is one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and I can still watch it today. It's very clever and fast moving. If you have nostalgia about the show, then this is for you. Next up is Wolfstein, #1 of a 2-part miniseries from Titan Comics. It's an alternative future where the Nazis won World War II, using super advanced killing machines and vicious robot dogs. If you think you heard of it, you may have. It's based on a gaming franchise. Next up, let's see what Image Comics is up to. You know they always deliver. And that's going to be Genius Cartel #2 of a 5-part miniseries. This is the story of an African-American female teen who's a military genius. She had been attending a government school for wayward prodigies, and now she's been tasked to go out in the field and take on Mexican drug cartel. That sounds like fun. I'll be down for that. Next up is Kill or Be Killed number 12, and this series just keeps on getting better and better. It was nominated for an Eisner back in 2016. You've seen the gun-toting, lone wolf, half-crazy vigilante before, but Ed Brubaker's take on it is magnificent. I highly recommend it. Next up is Retcon number 1. It's the reboot of a comic book series that never existed with a all-new, all-different series of issue number 1. So basically, it's a parody of reboots and revisions that comic books do when something doesn't prove to be popular. So this isn't for everybody. It might go over a lot of people's heads. So yeah, it's a comic that's spoofing comics. Next up is Redlands number 1, which is going to a second printing. It's about a small town in Florida that's overrun by witches, and the police are trying to take order back from those witches. Issue number 2 drops this week as well, so if you're a horror fan, this is a very nice pickup to have. Next up is Realm number 1, and this is the runner-up pick of the week. If The Flash wasn't so strong with a new character, this would have been the pick. It's about a future dystopian world where orcs, dragons, and other horrors have overrun the earth, and chaos has ensued and society has broke down, but one man can make a difference. This reminds me of The Walking Dead with Rick Grimes meets Mad Max meets Kurt Russell and Escape from New York. So we have the dystopian wasteland that you've seen before, but there's a little horror element with some magic sci-fi in it. And what you're looking at right now is the Tony Moore cover B variant. You absolutely should get this for nothing but the cover alone. That looks fantastic. If it reads half as good as this cover looks, then it's going to be a hit. You know the drill. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about Comic Power. That's about it for today. Thank you for watching Wicked Wednesday, where I review all the new comic books for a new comic day. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. And don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support.